This popcorn-style review contains scenes from another video. Ascendance of a Bookworm is one of those isekai where they don't really spend any time, like they spend no time in the actual real world. They just immediately jump into the fantasy world, but it also diverges from most of those series that might as well be just fantasy series, in that this show would not work were it not an isekai. The main character's mind is this 6-year-old girl at the start of the show who ends up, after having a terrible fever, wakes up with the memories of a adult Japanese woman who died of being crushed by books in what is essentially a medieval fantasy world. They did a pretty decent job of portraying medieval times. I mean, obviously there's some anachronisms, but yeah, the level of technology is acceptable enough, I guess. I've definitely seen it done worse. Would have liked to see more guns, but this world also has magic. I'm going on a tangent that no one cares about. Anyway, so this Japanese woman ends up in the body of a 6-year-old girl named Mine, who's like this poor peasant girl, and she really likes books. The problem is that books are really fucking expensive in this time period, and they haven't invented the printing press, so she decides that if she can't afford a book, her only hope is that she's gonna make her own books by basically inventing book production methods, like cheaper versions of paper and ink and stuff. The first episode is super slow, and I thought it was gonna show, I was afraid the whole show was gonna be like that, but it really picks up past episode 1. And past that point, I never really feel like the show is wasting my time. I feel like everything it does is going towards a purpose. And it's still a relatively calm, slow-paced show, but when you get to the actual end of it, you're surprised at the amount of progress that was made. She ends up, eventually she does create a cheaper alternative to more expensive papers. And she ends up working with a merchant guild and running her own merchant shop. Well, she doesn't run the shop, but you get the idea. She ends up creating a paper production company. So you are surprised at where the show ends up, really, how much progress is made, because when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like anything's being done, but then you get to the end and you're like, huh. None of the characters were particularly stand out. I mean, they were all likable enough, but there's nothing that really jumps out about this show. It's just genuinely well crafted. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic. Your Envoy of Hope. Bye bye.